All right. Okay. Good afternoon, guys. So, good afternoon and welcome back. So, as discussed, right? So, we'll have quick demo on Splunk, and I want to explain like what is the role of Splunk or what is the how can we leverage Splunk in performance testing and engineering, and how to how to set up trial version Splunk of Splunk Enterprise on our machine in this demo session. In the next half an hour to 45 minutes, we'll have around 45 minutes session most probably. So let me quickly explain like what is the role of Splunk, or what is the importance of Splunk. What is Splunk? What is the importance of Splunk in performance testing and engineering? And also let's see like how can we leverage, in how many ways can we leverage this? How many days? How many ways are, how can we leverage the potential of Splunk in performance testing and engineering? Okay. So first, let me start with Splunk. So introduction and all. Yeah, as I will be going to, I'm going to upload this session to my YouTube channel. Let me give a quick introduction about myself. So I'm an MCA graduate and having 18 plus years experience in IT and 15 plus years into performance testing and engineering. And of course, still learning. Yes. So we should be, we will be a learner forever. There is no end to this journey, right? To this learning journey, isn't it? So that's why I mentioned, we're still learning, right? And I work for multiple service-based companies like Applabs Technologies, Innominds, Tech Mahindra, Qualizil, and product-based companies like SAP Labs, Bank of America, State Street, GE Healthcare, and Axway. I got a chance to work on Splunk when I was working for Bank of America, actually, right? So after completing 10 years, when I moved to Bank of America, so there I got chance to work on this Splunk, Dynatrace, JMeter, and all this. Okay. And that is the only project, or where I worked on Splunk actually. Of course, I worked on Splunk in 2015. Okay. And I like Bank of America sponsored and we cleared Splunk certification. Splunk, there is Splunk Associate or something. Splunk, we'll see that. I'll show that. Splunk provides some certification like Dynatrace, and JMeter also. We have some. JMeter is a free certificate, right? So we have some free certifications from BlazeMeter University, and we also have paid certifications also for JMeter, right? But whereas with Splunk and Dynatrace, there are no free certifications. That involves some exam cost. You need to pay some exam fee, and then only you can attend the, so either Splunk or Dynatrace certification, or paid certifications, or paid exams. Okay. So however, like if your organization is sponsoring, once you get a job, if your organization is sponsoring that, you can do that. Otherwise, no need of these paid certifications. If you are, like if you are not working, it's not worth spending amount for certifications. Okay. Once you join into the organization, and if your organization is sponsoring that, then it makes sense to pay money for that, because they will be like the certification cost will be higher, like it will be around 20 to 30,000, I think, if I remember it correctly, either Splunk or Dynatrace. Okay. So you can think about certifications and all once you join into some organization and your organization is supporting. Okay. And I have been mentoring, and we are doing some corporate trainings, and we most of we placed around 500 plus students successfully in the last actually 4 to 5 years. This is actually, so 4 to 5 years approximately. We have placed 500 plus students successfully without doing any proxy and backdoor, right? And waiting for my next big thing means, so regarding my establishing my own institute, or right now we are running in a rented premises, so we want to set up our own institute. Uh, right, that is what I mentioned here. Waiting for my next big thing means. Okay, and now let us understand. So this will be the course contents for Splunk. Okay, so I'll start with what is Splunk, how to set up Splunk Enterprise on our machine. We also have Splunk Cloud version also, but I am going to cover Splunk Enterprise so that we can set up on our machine, and we can install some sample applications on our machine, and we can explore, or we can leverage the full potential of Splunk. And what is Splunk architecture? What is the operational intelligence of Splunk, and installing Splunk Enterprise for Windows and Mac OS. I will not cover because I don't think anyone is having Mac OS here, at least in this batch. So previously I used to have one MacBook, That's why, at that time I designed this course contents. So however, like I don't have a MacBook now, so it got retired actually. Okay. So then we'll see like Splunk functions. What are Splunk functions? How does Splunk index data? What is, there are some few 5 important functions of Splunk, right? Which we'll see that in the coming up sessions. These are the 5 important functions of Splunk. It can index data and we can do search and investigate, add knowledge objects. We can set up monitors and alerts, and we can do also create nice dashboards, and we can create reports, and we can analyze the test results. So these are 5 important functions of Splunk Enterprise. Okay. So I'll be covering those Splunk functions and what is index data, how does Splunk index data, how to search and investigate, right? And what is this knowledge object and how to add a knowledge object to in Splunk, how to create these monitors and alerts, and how to use this report and analyze function. What are the various components of Splunk? What is a forwarder and what is search head, right? So, and Splunk apps and roles, instance deployment, and what is input data. There are multiple ways to ingest data to Splunk, ingest or input data to Splunk. One is input data by using a feature called upload input, or monitor input. And search and reporting app is one default application in Splunk, which we mostly use, right? And what are the transforming commands? What are the search components, etc., etc. What are the default fields, interesting fields, field operators, eval command, fields command, table command, right? There are, in some organizations we have uh, pure Splunk jobs. There are some, jobs where, you will be completely working on Splunk. Okay. And how to create Splunk queries and dashboards. That would be the last thing, right? So how to create some, I did develop some dashboards in Splunk using Splunk by writing the Splunk queries for in one of my project, like in Bank of America project. I worked for while I was working for Bank of America, I worked for application called payments, or a project called payments processing. Okay. And payments processing is one of the crucial or important project for Bank of America, where it does all the payments processing, all the see, payment processing means this fund transfer, bill payment, right? And Bank of America also does salary processing for Apple, Microsoft, those kind of Accenture. At that time when I was working for Bank of America, they used to do salary processing for Accenture, Apple, etc. So, and they are into mainly into wholesale banking. Okay, they provide loans for banks, small banks. They are into wholesale banking business as well. That is their main business area. Okay, and payments is one of the important application for Bank of America. And I worked for while I was working for Bank of America from offshore. I worked as an individual contributor for that payments project in that payments project for 2.5 years. Okay, there I had developed some dashboards using Splunk queries. So I'll try to cover those dashboards as well. So if any of your projects are having Splunk, you can recreate those dashboards, or you can develop some dashboards for your as per your requirement. Okay, so this will be the course contents, guys. And now let us move to introduction, Splunk introduction. I'll take a pause here. Any queries? Everyone able to hear me? And by the way, like as we discussed it, right? So I am planning to run it as a weekend batch. I'm planning to run this Splunk and Dynatrace as a weekend batch. I'm expecting few more members from next session, because like we have very short notice this time. But next time, like we will have, I believe I will have double or triple the head count, right? So we'll run it as a weekend batch so that those who are already working in performance testing also can join. Okay, because you need to complete. By the way, what are the prerequisites for this? Is you should be at least you should have completed at least one performance testing tool, ideally, if you want to attend this Splunk and both Splunk and Dynatrace training. These are the prerequisites. So you should have completed at least a high Likil. You should have completed at least, or you should be already working in performance testing on any of these performance testing tools like LoadRunner or JMeter or NeoLoad, right? So then only this course will be helpful to you. This Splunk and Dynatrace training will be helpful to you only when you have some only when you Either you should have completed training or you should be already working on performance testing, right? Any queries, guys? Any other queries apart from this?
Pavan,
Yeah, Nikhil. I'll let us take up one by one. Questions one by. Yeah, Nikhil.
for Splunk and all, do we have to learn any? I mean, I said like you need prerequisites and all, like JMeter and all. So, do we need to have like basic coding, basic coding, or anything else from JMeter and all?
No, no, nothing. No, coding and all not required, but we will be writing some basic, queries, and queries will be hardly like 4 to 5 lines, just like how we wrote queries in InfluxDB. Those who attended our last batch, JMeter batch, April batch, right? So we wrote some, or we used some queries in the InfluxDB, right? So these Splunk queries also look similar, or it will be hardly 4 to 5 lines, not more than that. No hardcore programming skills are required for Splunk. So mostly we'll be using Splunk for searching the error messages and logs actually. So by using this search and reporting app, that will be the main functionality. Only when you want to develop some dashboards, then only we need to write some queries. Otherwise, no need of queries as well. Only when if you want to develop some dashboards, then only Splunk query. I mean, the writing queries is required. But other than that, if you want to use existing features of any of existing features of Splunk, no, then no hardcore programming skills are required.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
I heard someone else asking some lady asking, try to ask some query. Okay, sorry, it's Prasad. Prasad, yes.
Also, what is the difference between Splunk, Dynatrace, and Datadog, sir? What is the tools difference?
Right. So Splunk is a log mining tool. Basically, Splunk is a log mining tool. So what is meant by a log mining tool? 1 second, let me bring up Notepad++. Okay. So to answer some Prasad question, like what is the difference between Splunk and Datadog and Dynatrace? So basically, Splunk is a log mining tool. Okay. So what logs we'll see that. So Splunk is a log mining tool. Splunk and Datadog, even Datadog, I think Datadog is also an APM tool also, I think, right? And whereas Dynatrace is a APM tool, right? So application performance monitoring tool. So the beauty of, basically Splunk can be used only for, like searching the log messages and all. We'll discuss, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, what is the significance of Splunk. We'll discuss that in the next 10 to 15 minutes in searching the logs, right? Whereas Dynatrace is a application performance monitoring tool. So beauty of performance testing is like, it will heavily reduce the manual, analysis and intervention to interpret the test results. See, for example, if in the absence of any APM tool, we need to do a lot of analysis and we need to do monitoring and analysis of the test results, right? And we need to, we need to identify the root cause of the performance issues, if any, right? In the absence of any APM tool. So, however, if you have any APM tools in your project, they will help you pinpoint the issues directly. They will help you, this lot of, manual effort will be reduced and they will pinpoint where exactly is the issue, whether the issue is with, any. So next week we will have an introduction on Dynatrace. We will discuss in detail, but it will help us, pinpoint the issue where exactly the performance issue is lying in the entire application stack, or if you're in your application technology stack. Say, there is some load balancer, web server, app server, DB server, or there is some network latency between in the request. So it will help us to pinpoint what exactly is the issue. That is only one feature of Dynatrace. Apart from that, it has a lot of other technologies like PurePath and all, which we'll discuss in the next, once we start Dynatrace training. So, but at a high level, so this is the main difference between Splunk and Dynatrace. Okay. Splunk is a log mining tool, basically. Now, what logs are and what is that log mining tool? What exactly does it mean? Yes. Yeah, Prasad.
I'm missed about the Datadog.
Datadog, I don't have much exposure or experience to Datadog, but I think it is. I mean, it does this log mining as well as APM also, I think. 1 second. As well. So I didn't get chance to work on Datadog, or I don't have much idea about Datadog. But as you know, like it is one of the APM tools. It can be used as a APM tool as well as log mining tool also. I think it plays the role of both the tools. I think. Okay. So, but these are the different APM tools in the market, popular APM tools in the market. Dynatrace, AppD, New Relic, etc. Easy, Datadog, SemaTest, and all this CA APM, etc. And this is Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch APM. Elasticsearch APM. Okay. Right.
Sir, Splunk can be used to analyze the bottlenecks also. Means it helps to analyze the bottlenecks.
Yes. Yes, we can use Splunk to analyze the bottlenecks. Yes. But there will be more of manual effort here compared to Dynatrace. Okay. We'll see that, once we complete this Splunk and Dynatrace, we'll have a quick comparison, or you'll get a clear understanding. So, like what are the limitations of this, what are the advantages, and what are the limitations of these tools, right? So Splunk is an American software company. Splunk Inc. is an American software company basically, and it developed a platform. It is a software platform to search, analyze, and visualize the machine-generated data gathered from websites, applications, sensors, devices, etc., which make your IT infrastructure and business. Right. So Splunk is a software platform to search, analyze, and visualize the machine-generated data. Machine-generated data means any application generates a lot of log messages, lot of data, right? So that machine-generated data can be searched and visualized with the help of these log mining tools like Splunk, and it is popular as a log mining tool. Splunk is most popular as a log mining tool, right? So before I go into practical session on Splunk, setting up the Splunk, I would like to explain a couple of things here. Okay. Suppose you have, so this is a traditional 3-tier application architecture, right? Any web application architecture, isn't it? So which where like in this picture, like or in this in this in this picture, like you have load balancer and web server, app server, DB servers represented, isn't it? So any application will have multiple web servers, app servers, DB servers, first of all. And whenever you have multiple web server, app server, DB server, you will have a load balancer, right? Load balancer will be there only when you have more than one web server, more than one app server, and more than one DB server, isn't it? So if this is your application technology stack, right? So where you have multiple, for example, in my payments project, as I mentioned while I was working for Bank of America, we had two web servers, 5 app servers, and 2 database servers, right? Number of web servers we used to have were 2, and app servers 5, and then 2 database instances. Okay. And now why do we have 5 application servers is there are around 300 JVMs are there are like to support or to run multiple modules. For example, we have report module running on one app server, one single app server. All our report modules, report servers are report JVMs related to report module used to run on one of those app servers, one or two of those app servers. Okay. So in that way, like, we had 5 application servers, and WebLogic is the application server in our project at that time. Of course, now also it should be WebLogic only. And I think Nginx is the web server. I don't remember about web server correctly. And Oracle is the database server for that payments application. Now let's assume that, so, and altogether we had, 300 JVMs running on 5 app servers, 300 JVMs, and each for, like one JVM is dedicated for each module basically. That means for report module, we used to have 10 separate JVMs for reports module alone. Okay. For fund transfer, some 10 to 20 JVMs are dedicated for fund transfer functionality. So like that we used to have, and altogether I remember, we had 300 JVMs altogether running on WebLogic server. Right. Now, suppose, one of the app server is having some issue. Let's assume that, like you are running a load test, or, in the production, let's assume like you had some production issues. Or else when you are running a load test, you got some errors, and For example, you got some login issue or payment issue, fund transfer issue. Okay. Now, some error messages will be written to the log file, right? Suppose, like you have some, basically that is a Java application is, whether it's Java or, PHP or .NET, that doesn't matter. But actually, like, my project was a Java application. Payments project was developed using Java language. And one of the, suppose, there are some errors in login transaction or payment transaction, let's say you. And now, so that error might have happened on when we have 5 app servers, right? As I told you that, like we used to have 5 application servers, app 1. Let's assume that those servers as app 1, app 2, app 3, app 4, app 5. Okay. Now, let's say we got some errors, or we are having some issues with the application, and that issue or that error may be because of any of these app servers. Okay, may not be because of all the servers, but maybe some issue is there on one of the application server, let's say app 4, right? But we don't know as an like initially we don't know, like which server is causing that issue. Obviously, on seeing the error message, we can't determine which server is causing the issue. Yes or no? On seeing the error message on the front end, or on seeing that we cannot really tell like which server is causing that issue, or even for that matter, we don't know whether it is an issue on web server 1, web server 2, isn't it? I told you that we used to have 2 web servers, right, and 5 app servers and 2 DB instances. I'll name it as DB1 and DB2. Okay. Now we really don't know, for example, if it is an application, if it is a code issue, or if it is a code issue, need not be code issue. Let's assume that there is some CPU issue or memory issue on one of the servers. Okay. But we don't know on which server is causing this issue unless until we look into the log files, isn't it? We need to see, in the absence of Splunk like log mining tool, let's say there is no log mining tool like Splunk. How do we identify, how can we identify the actual issue, root cause of the issue is, we need to search the log files on each app server. If you don't have, a log mining tool like Splunk, right? See guys, the way I'm explaining, in the absence of log mining tool like Splunk, of any log mining tool, log mining tool, right? So if you get some error message, if you want to know where exactly, suppose it is a server side issue, and if you want to figure out, or if you want to isolate what is the issue, what exactly is the issue. For example, we have 5 application servers, and we have different JVMs running on each machine. Let's say one of the JVM is crashed, and application is throwing some errors. Now, if you want to identify which JVM crashed, or which app server is causing that issue, we need to manually search through the log files on each server, right? On each app server, we need to look into the log file. We need to enter that, or we need to do a remote desktop connection to that server, and we need to search in the corresponding log file, isn't it? And again, on each server, there will not be a single log file. There will be multiple log files. For example, if you take Konakat application itself, right? If you take Konakat application itself, let me start that Konakat application. Guys, I want everyone to install Konakat application and Splunk by next session. Okay. For the next session, I want everyone to set up MySQL database, because like you need to have one database for running this Konakat application, either MySQL or any other database. Okay. So we have some recorded sessions on MySQL, how to set up MySQL on our machine. So set up this Konakat application on your machine for Splunk. And when I cover Dynatrace, I will help you set up, an inbuilt application called Easy Travel. Dynatrace software comes with a demo application called Easy Travel. I will cover that in the live training. However, for next Splunk session, I want everyone to install this Konakat application, which is a Java application. Again, if you want to install Konakat, you need some database server, right? So I recommend, MySQL for that. We have some recorded sessions for setting up, like this MySQL and Konakat. Please go
Can
through
we
the
set up? Can we
please
set up with Postgres?
yes, you can set. It's up to you. But Postgres, I think Postgres queries will be quite different from MySQL, isn't it? So that's why I suggest, MySQL. But if you already have Postgres, yes, you can use that Postgres database also. By the way, to install MySQL and Konakat, I had recorded one session recently, very recently, last month in July, on July 18th, as you see here, right? And this is uploaded as on my YouTube channel as a public video. So please go through this if you want some help. If you are already having Konakat, well and good. Otherwise, please go through this recorded session to set up MySQL and Konakat on your machine successfully. Okay, I'll share this recorded session in the WhatsApp group, for this Splunk and Dynatrace training. Okay, I'll take a part. So if you want to explore like how to search log messages in Splunk or how to create some dashboards and all, first of all, you need some data, right? Some log files, isn't it? So we will generate those log files and all by running this Konakat application and running a test on this, a load test on this. So I'll try to, reproduce some issues, performance issues, and I'll try to explain like how to search those error messages in the Splunk, right? So by next weekend, I request you to be ready with MySQL and Konakat installed on your machine. And this is the latest video that I had done on Windows 11 OS. Okay, Windows 11 operating system. All right. So, and I had provided links also for downloading MySQL and Konakat. In this particular, recorded session, I remember that I had provided some links also. If not, I will update it. Any queries, guys? Okay. Now, is the context clear, guys? What is the, where does this Splunk tool comes into picture? Is the context clear, or is the purpose of Splunk clear? Main purpose of Splunk? If you get some error message on any of these servers, right? We really don't know like which server is causing that issue, or which server is responsible for that issue, or where exactly that error happened, right? That is where this Splunk like log mining tools comes into picture. So in the absence of Splunk, we have to log into each and every server, and again we have multiple log files. Let me show you that. I think there I got diverted there. So let me open the Splunk Konakat application. Konakat is a Java application, by the way. Our previous batch students know this. All of our previous batch students know this. What is Konakat? Okay, right. And now, if you go to that Konakat folder, right click and open file location, right? So you'll have a logs folder. In Konakat, you'll have a logs folder along with bin, right? So if you see that, if you go to the logs folder, you see multiple log files here, right? Catalina log, post manager log, konakat.log, deploy.log. There are multiple log files, right? If you take any enterprise Java application or enterprise application, there will be a lot more of different types of log files. And we don't know, like, without knowing where our error message is, definitely it will be very difficult to find out where exactly is that error message, isn't it? What exactly is that error message when we get an error? Yes or no, guys? And in this way, again, on each server, we have to log in and we need to search in the log files in the absence of any log mining tool. So, however, if you have any log mining tool like Splunk, you will have, you can log into your Splunk account like this. So, I had installed Splunk on my local machine, and this is the URL.
How is it different? Like,
Understood. Yeah, understood. Let me rephrase your question, or let me repeat your question. So, if you don't know, like, if you want to search in Splunk also, so your question is like, do we need to know which the server name, right? No need for that. So basically, what happens is, there will be a component called as forwarder in Splunk. There is a component called as forwarder. So that forwarder will be residing on each server, and it will forward all the log messages to your Splunk central server, Splunk central instance, or the machine on which you have Splunk central instance or Splunk Enterprise running. Okay. And now you log into your Splunk URL, and you can directly search for that error, and no matter which server on which server we got that error, we'll be able to find that error message in the Splunk console, Splunk web console. So we need not know which server caused that issue. You will get to know that. It will search, so basically all the log messages or all the error messages are forwarded to the Splunk central instance, right? So when we search in Splunk console, you'll automatically get, you'll get to know like on which server that error has happened. Understood?
Yes, got it.
Right, we'll see that. We'll say you'll understand that in detail in the coming up sessions. Okay, so now what did we do, guys? Yeah, so there are multiple log files, and we don't we need not know like where that error, where can we find that error message as well. Again, there are multiple servers. We need not know which server, which server is causing that issue. If you have any log mining tool like Splunk in your application, in your technology stack, in your application technology stack. Okay, now now just let me show you. I just want to show you the Splunk console, and then we'll proceed to the. So this is how Splunk login page looks like, and I will log in to my account. I have created one account. We'll see that. I'll show that how to create an account while installing Splunk. We'll see that. But this is how Splunk interface looks like, or Splunk login page looks like. And you have something called search and reporting app, right? You click on, you launch that app, and you can search the message directly here. That error message, part of the error message is enough. Some part of the error message is enough if you want to search for that error message. And once you log into your Splunk console, you have some tours as well, or some tutorials as well. You can see that later. And once you launch your this is search and reporting app. And now you just search part of that error message, then it will get the results from no matter whatever server causes that issue. You'll get to know which server is having that issue. We'll see that. Okay, now this is how Splunk interface looks like. Just to give you a heads up. Now let us get let us create a Splunk account, and let us download that enterprise, and let us install on our local machine. Okay, and so before you start trying this, like make sure that you have at least 8 GB RAM on your machine, or 16 GB would be the recommended one. Minimum is 8 GB. So if anyone is having less than 8 GB, so I strongly suggest you to upgrade your RAM. Okay, by next weekend, at least by next weekend. But I don't think like someone is having only 4 GB RAM. Anyone having 4 GB RAM on your machine? Everyone is having at least. I assume that everyone is having 8 GB or higher RAM. Okay. Do you have Sarath today? Did Sarath join?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now let's see how to create a Splunk account. Okay. Simply, Google search for Splunk Enterprise download, or Splunk trial version, Splunk free trial, or anything is fine. Splunk, Google search for Splunk free trial, and go to this link, free trials and downloads, right? And I already told you like before, like to download and keep it ready. If you already downloaded, that's fine, well and good. If you did not join the previous session, so please do it now. Okay. Once you are on this page, click on this get my free trial under Splunk Enterprise. Okay. Get my free trial. And then you'll see a registration page where you need to enter your mail ID, name, and contact, and yes. So Splunk provides 60 days trial version, as you see here. Splunk Enterprise provides 60 days trial version, and this is the latest version of Splunk which I updated here. 9.3.0 is the latest version in 2024. Okay. August 2024, 9.3.0 is the latest version. Okay. Now once you are on this page, right? So enter your details. If you're already having Splunk, log into your account. Otherwise, create an account for yourself. And it will, though it is showing that business, asking you to enter business email, you can enter your Gmail ID. It works. Okay. Can you please do that? Those who did not have an account, can you please do this? set some password and first name, last name, and give some job title, give some company name. It will not validate anything, but it will send a activation email to your mail ID. So give a valid Gmail ID. Are you doing that, guys? And create an account for yourself. Okay, can one of you please share your screen? Those who are creating an account now. Yeah. So at least 8 characters should be there, and I think one special character. It requires one special character as well. Okay, now all the criteria is met. You can give any title there, QA engineer or something, QA engineer or
Just
yeah.
say tester. Yeah.
You can enter any number, any junk value, enter any number, or else that is also not mandatory, I think. Okay. And yeah, company you can give anything. Okay. Select those checkboxes and click on create new account. Now you'll get an email to that. Let me pause recording. You'll get an email and you need to click on that activate the account. Now we can see. Yeah. So this is how you get an email from Splunk, guys, to activate your account. So you need to verify your email to activate that account. Yes. So once you are done with that, now you can log into your account. Once you verify your email and activate your account, you can log into your Splunk account like this. Thanks, Girija. So now let me share my. Sorry, guys. So once you activate your email or once you activate your account, once you activate your account, Splunk account by verifying your email, you can log into your Splunk account and this is how it shows. It shows, see, observe here, it is showing my user ID and this is how it shows, or it provides an option from where you can download the Splunk. Clear this. And now once you download this, once you click on this download now, and you'll download an MSI file. Let me show you that. So and double click that installer file. MSI file is nothing but a Microsoft installer or something, right? So let me show you that file, downloaded file folder. I think I moved it to software folder. Date modified, sort with date modified. Yes. So this is how the MSI file looks like. You can see here Splunk version number 9.3, and then x64 means nothing but like 64-bit software. It indicates that it is a 64-bit software and it is the installer file, Windows installer package. Now once you run this, right? Can someone who is doing installation now? Can you please share your screen because it is already installed on my machine. Can one of you please share your screen at once? Yeah. Now, double click that installer file to install it. Yes. Run that installer file. Yeah. Let it load. Let it load. Yes. Check this box to accept the license agreement. Yeah. Select that checkbox. Okay. And then click next. Okay. And here you are, you are going to create a account over here. Okay. So create some user, enter some username and password. This is Splunk account on your local machine, guys. Okay. Better give the same credentials that you use for Splunk online account so that there will be no confusion. That's what I did. So I gave the same credentials, for which with which I created a Splunk account. It can be different also. So basically, this is a administrator account on your local machine. You read it over there on the top, create credentials for the administrator account, right? So you can, give whatever, but remember that username and password. Please remember, note down that somewhere, otherwise it will be a bit difficult. You can recover it, but it will be difficult to recover. Okay. So please remember those credentials, whatever you are creating here, and click next. Yes. Go ahead and click next. Username that you gave is Sarath. Yeah, Sarath. You can click next. Okay, and install. Right. Let me pause recording because installation takes some time. In your project, you will be having Splunk Enterprise running on a remote machine or some separate machine. Okay. Yeah, Prasad. So what is your query?
Yeah, to do performance testing, we need the essential knowledge of the API testing, sir, because we need to execute the put methods and everything. We need to validate the responses codes. Then what is the purpose of learning the database testing?
DB concepts, database concepts, and
Yeah,
basic SQL queries, right?
yeah.
So basically, if you want to create, see,
performance testing, sir.
yeah. So basically, so once you execute any test, right? Suppose if you want to validate your test results. Say, for example, you executed a test on a e-commerce application and you placed some orders. Okay. So now client will ask you, can you show it on the database side? Client may ask you, or you want to validate before that, before sharing the results, you want to validate whether all the scripts ran fine and all the user registrations done and all the placing orders are appearing in the application are actually executed in the application and all. So if you know some basic database queries, you can validate the test results, your performance test results. Or if you want to create some test data also, or if you want to pull some test data from your test database, then also it will be helpful. Hey, Sarath, I'll show that service and all. Once the installation is done, I'll show that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So that's why, basic database queries knowledge is preferable or expected. It comes, handy, or it will be useful many a times, lot of times.
Okay, sir. Sir, after completion of the performance testing part, we need to clear all the test data which will be created by
Yes,
using
even after completing, yes, yeah, good point. Even after completing the test, if you want to clear the test data, if you want to see when you are running a soak test is for long duration test, right? So you'll run soak test for 8 hours or 12 hours or 16 hours, and in that process you insert a lot of records into the database. Suppose if you want to do database cleanup after running a soak test or after running multiple load tests, suppose if you want to do a database cleanup, then also this this database concepts will be helpful really.
Okay.
Yeah. Now installation is done. So, you can see that Splunk Enterprise was successfully installed, and you have an option to launch browser with Splunk Enterprise, right? Default it is selected, right? Click finish. Just click finish, and it will open Splunk console or Splunk URL. By default, Splunk uses 8000 as the port number. Okay. Yeah. You can see that the default port number is 8000. Default port number of Splunk is 8000, and 127.0.0.1 refers to
Local machine.
your local machine, right? And now you remember we gave some username and password while doing installation, right? Now you need to log into with that credentials. And by the way, let me explain you a few things. I'm sharing my yeah. You are able to log in, right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay. Now thanks, sir. So I'm sharing my screen.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Now let me share my screen and let me explain you a couple of things. Okay. I am also logged into my Splunk account, and by default you will be on this page, isn't it? You see hello administrator, and you see on the right top left you see search and reporting apps. These are different apps. Before that, once the Splunk installation is completed, if you go to services, you see a service called Splunk D. You see that, a service called Splunk D is running, isn't it? And by default, the you see the status as running, isn't it? You see the status as running over here. And this is the, this is the service that will be Splunk will be installed as a service, first of all. So it will be available in the services window, right? And then, and by default, the startup type will be automatic. The startup type will be by default automatic. I have changed it to manual. You also please change it to manual. Sarath, can you please share your screen and show this once? Sorry, I missed it. Can you please share your screen once and show that the default startup type is automatic. So don't leave it as it is, because every time you start your machine, if you leave it to automatic, so it will be running every time you start your machine, it will be running, right? You can go to services. From here also, you cannot change the startup type. You need to go to services again. Or else, right click over there, Splunk D, and go to properties and untadi. You have an option called services, open services. Third option. No, in the context menu, yes. It will open services window on your machine. And now type SPL. Okay, first 3 letters. Select any program, let's say any service and type SPL. Yeah, there you go. You see Splunk service and the startup type is automatic, right? So right click on that and go to properties and change it to manual. Change the startup type to manual. Otherwise, every time you start your system, it will be running. If it is automatic, right? Every time you start your system, Splunk will be running in the background. Okay, which is unnecessary, which is not required. Okay, click OK. Yeah. In our case, it is not required. We will be using it only when we want to explore something on Splunk. So that's why, we don't want to run it automatically, right? Now, change it to manual. Now, let me go to, yeah, thanks, sir.
Yep.
I'm stopping your screen share and share my screen, right? Now, this is how it looks like. Once you log into Splunk your account, this is how it looks like. So you'll have some default apps like search and reporting is one of the default app. Okay, that is one of the default app. And I covered those steps here, guys. Okay, so please you can see those steps over here. Once you create a Splunk account, download latest Splunk Enterprise, install Splunk on the local machine if you want to explore it or learn Splunk, and then set Splunk service startup type as manual instead of automatic, and then open any of your browsers and go to this URL, and you will be able to see this Splunk interface like this, right? All good till now. And these are the below that you have instructions on how to set up Splunk on Mac OS. Okay. So those, if anyone is having, anyone who is watching this recorded session, if they are having Mac, so you can follow these instructions for setting up Splunk on your machine. Okay. And now starting, how to start Splunk is, so if you are running that service on Mac, these are the instructions, by the way. Or, if you are on Windows, you go to services and start that. If you want to start, after that, once you shut down your machine today, and if you want to Splunk later on, you simply go to services and type SPL, the first 3 letters of the word Splunk. And, you can start here. You can start or stop or restart the service from here. Okay. And now you can see the status as running. Once it is started, so you can see the status as running, right? And then log into your console, Splunk Central Console or Splunk URL. Okay, which is localhost 8000. Localhost colon 8000 is the default URL, right? Now, so now once as I told you, there are some default apps like search and reporting, Splunk Secure Gateway, etc. on the left side. And below that, you have some tutorials as well. Whenever you go to any page, right, it is showing you a tour option. So please go through that tour option if you want to explore more, right? Now, for example, below that, there are multiple ways to add data to your Splunk. You see here common tasks. There are some common tasks defined. Under that, you have something called add data. Add data from a variety of common sources. If you click on add data, right? So it will show you some tour option for you. First time, if you click, it will show you some tour option. And now these are multiple ways to send data to Splunk. One way is you can upload some static files, log files. You can upload some static files or log files, or you can monitor an application on your machine. For example, if you want to upload some Excel data or or CSV file, yes, you can upload it from here. You click on upload and select the CSV file, and you can upload that file. If you want to search for some data inside that file, right? You can select file and or you can drop that file here, or you can click on select file and you can browse for that file, that CSV file or or log file. You can do that, and this is one way to add data to your Splunk, right? Another way to add data to your Splunk is by using monitor option. Suppose you want to monitor this Konakat application running on your machine. Let's say you want to monitor the Konakat application running on your machine. So you need to click on monitor and select files and directories and browse for that file and my I suppose I want to monitor the Konakat application log file. Okay. And on my machine, Konakat is running on D drive. Okay. So expand the D drive and go select the logs and click on select. And now you can see that the file path is added here. And now click next, right? What is it saying on Windows? On Windows, see Apache error log or data preview will be, it is not supported for directories. Input with the, okay, this is the issue, guys, actually. This is the issue actually. Input with the same name already exists. Just before, I think yesterday or before, I tried it actually just to make sure that, everything is working fine. Please, one of you, please share your screen. Those who are having Konakat on your machine. And one of you, please share your Sarath. I think you have Konakat set up on your machine, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me show it on your machine. Yeah. So go to services and start MySQL first. Because if you want to start my Konakat, first you need to start database, right? Type MySQL. Yes. Start this database server. Wait till this server is started. And now start the Konakat with the desktop shortcut. Yes. Konakat is running on your machine without any issues, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once we add this and once we get those log files, log messages, I will close the session, guys, for today. So, and if anyone is facing any issues, we'll see that. Like in logging to your Splunk installation or logging to Splunk console, we'll see that. Okay. So while this, yeah, let me pause recording for a moment till that server is started. So see here, now see here this. Okay. So once you, let me start MySQL and by MySQL database on my machine first. If it is not started, MySQL is running. Now let me start Konakat on my machine. Okay. So once you start your Tomcat server, so it will automatically open, like your application pages. It will open two pages in your browser. Automatically open two pages in the browser. One is admin page and another one is normal user page like this. See, you can see here, Konakat is opening. Server is opening two browser tabs. It will open two browser tabs. Yes. This is admin page, Konakat admin page, and this is normal user page. Let me wait for that application to be loaded. So now what you need to do is you need to go to your Splunk account and add data. And you need to, Sarath, is it done or anyone else, Supriya or anyone else able to start your Tomcat server successfully? Because, I already added, that is why it is saying that, like this log file was already added. I want to show this, like how to add the files and directories to Splunk. So this is how you can see. Once you start Konakart, you will get this admin page and login page. Hey, for me also, I got some error. Public key retrieval is not allowed. That's fine. So you can see now, you got some error right now. You can search that error message in the login. Okay. For example, you got that error message in the UI. Okay. So you can search for that, because I already added, like that Splunk logs. Let me show you that. We should now be able to search that error message. So we got some error message on the application console, right? Now we should be able to search that message, find that message over here. We search for that log message, that error message, right? This public key retrieval is not allowed. Let me do one thing. I'm unable to copy it from here. Maybe this is an image. All right, I'll type it manually. Public key retrieval is not allowed. That is the error message that we got, right? RETRIVL. Is it correct?
Sir, in public, L missing, sir.
Oh, sorry. No, I think, server is not started. I think we cannot search like this. Yeah, as Konakat server is not started properly, I think we can't search like this because, server is not started properly. One second, let me try to fix this issue. Is anyone able to get this page properly? Konakat page properly? None of you are able to do that? Okay, let me try to fix that issue then. Okay. Remember that, we can fix this issue. Let me pause recording for a moment. Most of the companies, see DBViewer and DB Visualizer, these are universal database tools. Universal database tools means they can be used to connect to any machine. See, for example, in your one client may be using MySQL as their database. Some other client may be using Oracle. Some other client may be using some other database. So instead of using multiple database tools, if you use universal database tools like DBViewer or DB Visualizer, right? So you can connect to any database using those tools. This is because that is the beauty of this DBViewer and DB Visualizer. You can connect to any database. Okay, not only MySQL, you can connect to Oracle, you can connect to Microsoft SQL or any other database. These are called as universal database tools, and most of the projects and most of the companies are using DBViewer and DB Visualizer only. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so this is how your Splunk Enterprise console looks like, guys. Once you log into your Splunk account on your local machine, or else even if you are having Splunk on a remote machine also, you will enter that server name here and port number. Default port number is 8000. Suppose you see in real time projects, or in your organization, Splunk may be installed on some other server, some other machine. So you will enter that server name here and port number is default one is 8000. And once you log into your Splunk account, this is how it looks like. So let me go to the home page. So this is how your Splunk console looks like. And now you will, most of the times you will use this search and reporting app. Okay. So how do you launch it is just simply click on that and you will have a search option, enter search here. And now right now, we'll do one thing, yes, we can do one thing. As my Konakat application is having issues, I cannot add those log files, but we have JMeter logs, right? I can add JMeter log folder. Okay. And to show you, just to show you how to use that monitor input. Okay. So let me go to the home page and monitor add data kakunda. Yeah, under add data, there are a couple of options, isn't it? For example, monitor is one option. And here you need to enter the files. You can enter the log file path. So what I will do is, as I am facing issues with Konagat application, I will add JMeter logs. We have JMeter logs, right? Let me start JMeter and let me add this, like one log file will be created when you start JMeter, one log file will be created, right? JMeter.log will be updated, right? So let me start JMeter and I will copy this, this logs folder. I'll copy this, oh, thing is, log file is directly over here. That is a problem here. Maybe, like file or directory. Let me do one thing. I'll write the file name as jmeter.log. That is a log file name, right? And now click next. See, by default, continuous monitor will be there. Continuously monitor will be there. Keep it as it is and click next. And then, yeah, now you see here, you see the JMeter logs appearing here. Once you add the JMeter.log, you are able to see the log messages in the JMeter log. This is what you see, right? Setting local, loading user properties. These are the log messages in the JMeter.log file. If you want, I'll show that. Let me open that JMeter.log and confirm that, right? So if you open this JMeter.log, you'll see the same messages in the log file. You see here, setting local to EN, etc. Isn't it? Yes or no? Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what you are seeing in the Splunk also, isn't it? Along with the event timestamp and the log message. So this is how you can now you can if you want to search for something, yes, you can search over here. Okay, save the source type. I'll give the source type as JMeter log. Okay, this is JMeter log file. I'm giving the description. And the app is search and reporting. Click on save. Once you add those, once you add the data, right? Submit that. Click submit. And now start searching. Click on start searching. And now like you can see by default it got that see by default you got that log file name and host name. Host name is nothing but machine name. My machine name is Lenovo ThinkPad in this case. And source type is JMeter log. That is the name that I gave. And you are seeing all the log messages, JMeter log messages over here. Right? Now you can search for any message, you can search for any message over here, right? By using this search bar. And you can select the duration as well, right? This is how we use this search and reporting app. Now, if you got some error message, you simply search that, you append that error message. For example, you got some error message. You search for error or exception and click on search and you will be able to find only that error message, right? So this is how we use this, that search and reporting app, guys. So I'll stop it here, guys, for today. And by next session, hopefully I'll fix this Konagat issue and we'll execute a test and I'll try to reproduce some errors. Or while executing a test, if you give some wrong data, you'll get some error messages and I'll show you how to search those error messages in the Splunk. Okay. So with this, I'll stop it here, guys, for today. We'll continue in the next weekend.
Yeah.
But please,
Tomorrow
please.
there's a class, right?
Tomorrow Splunk class, same Splunk class. If the issue is fixed, I will take it tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll take it next weekend. If I am able to fix this Konagat issue, I'll take a session tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll take it on next weekend.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So if I'm able to fix this Konagat issue, we will run a test on a Konagat application, load test. We'll run a load test. And, like we may get some errors when we go with higher load, we may get some errors. Or else if I use some wrong test data, some wrong credentials, then I'll get some error message in the logs, right? Then I'll show you, like I want to show you how to search that error message in the search and reporting app, in the Splunk search and reporting app. Okay. And we'll also discuss, otherwise, we can also do one thing. We can discuss about, meanwhile, by the time I fix the issue, we can discuss what are the important Splunk functions, what is index data, what is search and investigate, what is add knowledge objects. We can discuss these concepts, theory concepts. Okay. we can discuss these theory concepts as well, right? So I'll give you an update in, by end of the day. I'll give you an update. All right. So I'll stop it here for today, guys. Any queries before we close today's session? Types of data input, right? And keywords, Splunk keywords and all we can discuss. Meanwhile, before the issue is resolved. So any queries before we close today's session, guys? So if you are facing any issues in setting up that MySQL or Conacut or Splunk, so please post it in the comment section of the YouTube channel of my YouTube channel. I will try to help you out. Okay. And subscribe and turn on all notifications. Those who are watching this recorded session on my YouTube channel, subscribe and turn on all notifications. And if you want to get updates on our new batches, by the way, so I am planning to start one new batch for LoadRunner and Dynatrace, guys. Okay, few people asked me to start LoadRunner and True Client Protocol along with True Client Protocol, Web Protocol and True Client Protocol. We are having another trainer for LoadRunner actually, but that batch takes 1 more month to complete, or 2-3 more weeks to complete. And some people cannot wait till that time, and some people requested me to start LoadRunner training as soon as possible. So that's why I'm planning to start LoadRunner batch, LoadRunner training. Timings are not yet decided, but however, I am planning to start LoadRunner. I am planning to include True Client Protocol also in this current batch. Along with Web Protocol and API testing, I am planning to cover True Client Protocol and Dynatrace. Anyways, we added in the last batch in the LoadRunner training. All right. So if anyone is interested or if you have any referrals, please let us know. Okay. So with this, I'll close the session, guys, for today, and see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Or see you in the next session. So like for those who are watching on my YouTube channel, so this is our Insta page. Please follow our Insta page. Okay. So we are posting a lot of openings, guys, here. For example, Infosys is having a lot of openings. They are unable to fill the positions, the available positions. Because, I see, this Sujay posting every week or almost every 2 days, he's posting on LinkedIn. Because they are unable to find enough number of performance engineers, guys. Okay. So we are sharing some bulk openings. Whenever I get some bulk openings like this, I'm sharing it on my Insta page. If you get some few referral openings, or 3 to 4 openings, or 3 to 4 positions, I'm sharing in our WhatsApp groups to our students. But whenever I get some bulk openings, I'm sharing it on my Insta page. So please follow our Insta page if you want to get updates on referral openings or any openings, right? And also, new batches, new trainings and all. Okay. So with this, I'll close it here, guys, and have a nice rest of the weekend.